Welcome back, my comrades. I am Victor Borisov, and today I'm doing something a little bit different on Fallout 76. We have this wonderful event up, the Mothman Equinox event. There was a lot of people around here, but the event has just recently ended, so everyone has now left and gone off to do their own things. I am in a public world because I want to do the event again. And also, if I go into my private lobby, it's just going to restart the event, and I do not want to do it solo because it's a hardish event. But what I'm here to do today is to read all these lovely books for you. Yes, if you did not know, there is Totem Books. Let's open up the display case. These sacred totems. All told, you need one totem, well, not one totem, one event done to read this one, 4 to read this one, 7 to do this one, 13 to do this one, 26 this one, and 44. That's correct, guys. Within 3 days, I have done 44 events. So I'm going to read them all. I'm not sure if Bethesda is going to change that or anything, but I will let you know in the comments if Bethesda does change that. I've not seen anything stated yet about that, but yes. But within 2 days, I managed to get all the rewards. So, hey, not bad. And yes, there's a grind. But how this started was, I was on Twitter talking, and these lovely gentlemen, the Modus Files, the Fallout 76 podcast, Civilian Barbarian, and where's your person? Ho 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 Boss 95. That is their names on Twitter. We're all having a lovely conversation together about the event and the laws and everything like that. So I thought, why don't I do a video about it? So yeah, this is what I'm going to do. So right, let's get on to the first book, guys. Let me just load up this to make sure that's happening. Right, so the first one is Secret Totem, and this is supposed to be, yeah, criticism of Wise Henry the Scourge. I do apologise if I butcher anything in here. I am dyslexic, so if you don't want to hear my voice, just mute me and read it yourselves if you want. So as transcribed by Inter something Jill. Right. Time and again has the wise Mothman come, and time and again the ignorant heard not the message he bore. They were deaf to his whispers, seeing only a monster spectre filling them with dread from a world they could not understand. The ignorant heard of his passing and believed not the witness, naming him a fragment of delusional minds. Yet the wise Mothman was no essence from other realms, nor was he a Halcyon, something like that, of the sense. Time and again has the wise Mothman come, and time again fools and dwellers heard his whispers, yet understand it not. They were close to his message, hearing only the echoes of their own small minds, bouncing within their skulls. The dim ones named him a god and fell to their knees, calling themselves the Chosen. Yet the wise Mothman was no sky-born deity, nor had come to anoint them elect. Time again has the wise Mothman come, and time again the mad and twisted have rejected his message. They were attended to his other whispers, hearing the call of a thing beyond, drawn to the deep places of the earth from inhuman purposes. They broke and heard the song of the Interloper, and turned from the truth, seeing wisdom as the production of the mere mortals in favour of the unknown. Yet the wise Mothman returns with us, and his truth shields us from the call. Wise Mothman, wings spread and wise cherils heard and understood. He grants us from the flood and fire, while others fail we endure. While the dim ones secure to the delusions of the holiness, we witness the truth. While the mad were called to their chaotic masters, we spared the slavery of the unliving. We are the enlightened, and we know those things to be true. The wise Mothman is among us, and one of us. Right. The wise Mothman lives We feel his breath and hear the beat of his wings and know that he is more like to us than not. The Wise Mothman comes to us and shares with us the truth. Wise Mothman has found his truth. Things understand the world as it is, and through observations we approach his understand. His truth is a lesson, his truth is a warning, his truth is a path to enlightenment. We thank the Wise Mothman who shares his truth with us and rejects the falseness of ignorant dwellers, dull idols, and rapt minds servants. We observe, we interpret, we listen to his whispers and become wise. So that is the first book there, guys. And that first book is called, as like you heard, was Criticisms of Hillary, I think that is. So you'll hear the word interloper come up a lot. I'm assuming that is going to be the next major thing what's going to happen in 476, just how they're bringing it up a lot. Right, let's move on to the next one. Sayings of the Interpreter as a recording by Observer James. Right, this is a lot of pages as well, guys. I did not realize they were this long. I have read them, but I wasn't paying attention to how many pages there were. Right. The Wise Mothman. The Wise Mothman was. The Wise Mothman will be. Before the flood, before the fire, before the dim ones, the Wise Mothman saw what is breathin could not, and the truth was not. Wise Mothman sees not, for his gift has his vision to you. The Wise Mothman flies not on the wings for his truth. He fluttered you up. The Wise Mothman bears no heart, for his beats inside the beast of all who listen. The dim ones heard his message, and it filled them with fear. They cowered and prayed and made of him a god, but was not his truth. But some listened and understood, and they had not feared and become wise. The wise in turn bore this truth to us, and we listened and scored the dim. I'm sounding like a cultist now, aren't I, guys? God knows what my neighbours think. They probably think I'm a lunatic and a cultist now. Anyway, the ones who rejected the gift. We gather to witness the workers and the truth of the Wise Mothman, glorious Mothman, passage of the dim ones, heard of salvation. We stand ready for your truth, as your wise has cracked wide the knowledge of all things, so too shall transcend the limits of human understanding, stretches of your gentle teaching. The ignorant are always welcome among us, for ignorance is the beginning of enlightenment. The ignorant may learn and hear, and in so doing the truth comes knowing to them, yet they may struggle to understand. So do the ignorant learn to observe and watch for his sight, that they may return to fold, bearing witness and add to our awareness of his truth. Having observed, they may come to understand and learn to interpret. Wise being witnessed and shares the understanding with us, the interpretations of what has been observed, we may be fellows to the Wise Mothman and bearers of his truth. So yes, guys, very cult-like. Oh god, and the place is reset. What time is it? Phew, I still got 30 minutes until the next event. Right, next totem. Exodus of the Enlightened. As told to Interpreter Mitchell by Wise Pearl the Anger, or something like that. Right, it comes to pass that the worshippers of the Pretender Mothman, Wise Charles, something like that, that bring among their numbers did attempt to summon the Mothman, receive his glory. Charles alone heard the whispers of the Wise Mothman and bore his warning of fire and flood, and guides his brethren to safety in the Lucky Hole Mine. So as you can see there, guys, it mentions the Lucky Hole Mine, flood and fire, everything like that. So as you can see, there is going to be some things to come here. I'm just going to make a note of these. So fire, flood, Lucky Hole Mine. Yeah, I'm not one of these prepared YouTubers, guys, just let you know. So, right, next bit. The mine sheltered the Mothman's faithful throughout the populace, but there they turned into darker worship, and time came for the Wise Charles to see parts of the vision, the dim ones to the greater truth bestowed by the wise Mothman. Some listened and heard, and when they could not bear the corruption and falsehood of those we were once their brethren, the enlightened left behind the lies of the deceiver. The world was wild and dark, and mere horrors await the enlightened in the lands outside of safety of the mind. Dark beasts and strangle pestilence stalk the land, and some among the enlightened fall to their knees, crying, what has become of our home? Why have we survived when all is lost? Are we the forsaken? They called to Charles to return to the mine and reject the truth, saying there was nothing for them here. Wise Charles smiled upon them, and the light of the Mothman's wisdom shone as he spoke to them, saying there was safety beyond the hills. They had known a lantern awaited them, a beacon of safety and home for those that had heard the truth and been enlightened. He would guide them, and they would fear neither beast nor plague, and would pass beyond the reach of the dim ones and influence of by the pretender, the deceiver. So did the enlightened journey from the boundaries of West Virginia that was untouched by the scorched plague. They founded their church, naming it the Lantern, as it had been foreseen. Its light shines in darkness, a symbol of truth can conquer, and it calls to the wise Mothman, wherever he may be, telling them, those who hear your truth. Long may the lantern shine against the ignorance of the world, and never may the dim ones and the falsehoods of the red-eye pretender snuff out its beacon. So yeah, guys, as you can see in this first one, we've got the exact same thing again, where it talks about flood and fire. So you can see a pattern is starting to emerge now, guys, where it's about like the Interloper. We've got floods, fires. So there you go, flood and from fire. So it's going to be some sort of big event, I would say, where it's going to be like fire, floods, the enlightened, wise. It's like a warning, you know what I mean? So something is big coming, because in each of these they do talk about floods, fires, and the interloper. And what was the other one? The pretender and the deceiver. So yeah, I do think Bethesda is hinting at the next major event. Oh, I need to jump over these. Right, next cabinet is here. If you don't know where, I forgot to say, if you don't know where this is, I am in the church. I just realised there is lights now. Right, Sacred Totem. Observations, volume XXVI by Interpreter Welsh. Woods, Ohio, past midnight, gobbles moon. The howl of wolves is quelled by the wind-stirring flaw of the something wings. Silence settles over the forest, and I sleep and forth. As the lesser creatures tame their foil under the calming influence of the wise Mothman, so too should we cloud something tranquil. This is a weird one to read. Desert Town, Virginia, Galactica. Sign damage, dusk, warning, crust just above the horizon. I am sluice against the dying sun. Probes shine from a shadow. I am certain it is no longer safe and must find new shell. Wise Mothman appears to guide those with eyes to see and ears to listen. He is without miracle, but in his weak travels darkness and danger. Mountain Trail, Tennessee. Late afternoon, storm clouds, a shadow passes overhead, gone before I can say it. The wind carries a faint grey power which clings to my face and hair. As students of his wisdom, we must remind ourselves that not everything is a lesson the dim ones, but rather about the holy blessing of his dust. We remember he is wise, but he is also a moth. True. Highway, Virginia, night, maybe an hour past full dark, new moon sitting at campfire. I hear the beat of his wings and the sound of his enlightened behind me. I know he's not here to be seen, and I remain facing the fire. His wings and I safe sin. I have not walked. I awake with no memory of his death. The sun rising in the east. Not all students can bear his truth when heard directly. Not all knowledge can be understood when when we hear his message and our minds open, but only when we are ready to do we know its meaning. Watauga, West Virginia. Nearly dawn. Moon had set. I saw the Wise Mothman, ear rabbit, robo brain. I was hiding in one of the porpoise jobs, and the robo brain was shooting all kinds of holes in it, and then the Wise Mothman swooped down out of nowhere, just stuffed the whole robo brain into its mouth, bites, then he says it's all good, Dave, and flies away. Good old Dave, you know. Observer Dave has once again fallen prey to the laws of chems. Dave, not the Wise Mothman. So possibly high on chems. Unwillingly teaches us a lesson here. Do not use chems. And do not trust Dave. Right, Sacred Tome, next one. Only 2 more books left. On Dr. Willis, as told by someone. Right. Be night brief among the dim ones, even in their misguided wish of seeks to know their false gods better by increasing their understanding of him as a natural phenomenon they make of his supernatural being, yet they have claimed and scrubbed for the writings of those like us study the psychic reality of the Mothman. So it's with that the dim ones sought the lost manuscripts of Dr. Willis and something of some small recipient who wrote his doctoral thus on the moths of Appalachia's region. The dim ones believed these writings would unlock the mystery of the Mothman and bring upon them a clarency and wisdom that even they understood they lack. The knowledge of one's own ignorance is the beginning of wisdom, as Benjamin Franklin noted, yet even this knowledge they reject the truth of the Wise Mothman. They believe this of Dr. Willis would enlighten them when enlightened was already there for those who would listen. The dim ones search for his manuscripts in the something county cemetery, believing it entombed with him in the mausoleum there. So, they're all about going to that thingy, aren't they? Let me just write that cemetery down so we can have a look on the map, see what is there. So I think most of these locations will be Mothman locations. Right, there we see the flock of the defecation of the red-eyed pretender, for we should, and something more should be buried with theirs, the dim ones ignorant a secret relic of the divine, worthy of holy resting place, yet Dr. Willis was not of those numbers, and these would just appear among many notable only things, seeing his doctrine credentials. Those who would seek thus unblind by the beliefs of the dim ones would better serve stalking the libraries of the institution which granted Dr. Willis his degree. The secretary waits there, if it survived at all, mouldering unread among hundreds of other student works. Perhaps it holds some small light that would help us understand the Wise Mothman's truth, but it is lightly filled with little more than a study of original moths. There is no grace awaiting a question night. This Wise Mothman is here, and those ready to listen is not the truth. So guys, when he does say here, the red-eyed one, he is talking about, I'm assuming, these statues, these red-eyed statues were fake Mothmen. Because if we go to the map, and there's actually people still hanging around here. Because we go to Lucky Hole Mine, yep, it's a cultist location. And if we go to the cemetery, what I'm assuming is this one here. Yes, it is Mothman. So yes, this must be a false pretender, as they keep calling it. And the Interloper. Right, let's read the last one then. So, false gods of Appalachia. The Wise Mothman calls the mountains and woods of Appalachia home, yet the regions is the haunt of other strangeness as well. These rolling hills are ancient beyond human comparison, and what once towering peaks to shame the Alps remain home to things likewise outside mortal experience. Many a conclusion soul has attributed qualities to these things, as do the dim ones, and so doing are defend to the Wise Mothman's truth. Here I catalogue some of these false gods that studies of the wisdom may not be led into temptation of the dark mysteries which bear within them no light of knowledge. The deceiver, Mothman, and his trophy. As the Wise Mothman's eyes glow with the violent light of his wisdom, his unlightened brethren's vision is cloaked in crimson. They are there spawn heed not the actions of humankind, nor care for us, making us naughty, but prey and sport the dim ones. Think them gods define and scare and fall off the ground in observation, but not divine student of truth. These fire-eyed something are neither God nor anger, and have no wisdom to share. So as you can see, oh yeah, so that's poetry. So yeah, the Sivan Haze is like purgatory, so basically. It's fake. It's a fake Mothman, basically. Flatwoods monster. Shun this cursed creature, dear student, should your cross paths with its haunting form, let no its glow fool you. It shares no kinship to the wise Mothman, and where his truth seeks loses your mind from the flesh of falsehood. This hovering nightmare binds it. There is no wisdom to be found in such a being. Sheep squash of the vice shapes. My child tears and cows with beast people in the wilds of Appalachia, 8 men of giant shrubs and foul stench, hybrids of human and livestock, goats and rams, even plants that walk and speak with vegetable minds. Imagine invading the thoughts of mortals. Some have observed these things and we know them, but we likewise know that they are neither demon or deity. Some have constructed totems to call or appease these creatures and show themselves fools. A beast may come to food left to tempt it, or be frightened by a strange construction. These do not make it worthy of worship. The Interloper, the one we want to hear about. We would learn at the sunk knee of his wisdom. The Mothman who hear the truth and observe the coming and going must speak not of the Interloper. There is no fouler deity than one garbed in truth. Shun its call, for it can bring only darkness. Right, so that is all the books there, guys. So what did we actually learn? And yes, I'm wearing some Mothman clothes there, my communist one. So what did we learn here? I think something's coming with the cultists and the Interloper, possibly, because you keep hearing the word fire, flood, Interloper, and the rest, and darkness. And there's only like one true god and the rest, and that's this holy wise Mothman. Pray to the Mothman. So yeah, guys, I'm not sure what's coming, but I hope and pray they are getting ready to expand on this Interloper story, because we've had it in the game for a while now. There is 2 Interlopers in this game. We have the one at the Lucky Hole mine, what's all the way, where is it? There. And we have the other one, what's it? This cave here, the deep, the little baby one. So hopefully we're soon going to find out what the Interloper is, what the darkness is, and learn more about this fire and flood, what's coming in darkness. So, guys, we've got to look forward to in Appalachia what's going to flood and burn to the ground and be covered in darkness while this Interloper rules over all of us. And only the wise Mothman can save us. So, there's only one thing we can do right now, guys. And that's pray to the wise Mothman, shall we? Mothman, please save us from this darkness and fire and flood, and what's going to kill us is possibly this Interloper of darkness. So, right, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like, give it a thumbs down. If you have any questions at all, put them in the comments below, and I'll try and specify below I can, guys. If you don't want to talk in comments, you can easily find me on Twitter at Victor Borisov, so _ then Victor Borisov, or you can find my Twitter link in my description page on YouTube. But until next time, guys, I am Victor Borisov, signing off. Until next time, guys. Bye.